All right, baby, we're live. Back. Cowboys and
Live.
coffee. Cowboys and coffee are back, D.
You know what the title for this show is?
What?
That's the title of it right here. Look right here. Let me do this right. This is the title of the show. Drought for 30 years. This is the title.
Um, yeah, I'm still blown away by that absolutely stupid maneuver.
Listen, there's 7 billion people on Earth, and about I bet 2 billion are Cowboy fans, and every Cowboy fan, there was a slap in the face with this right here. It was like, you peons, 30 years, yeah, you can deal with it. So, anyways, let's move on from there.
Yeah, so Cowboys are they're bringing in some coaches who we seem to like, and Clayton Adams is new offensive coordinator. Eberflus is the defensive coordinator. And I don't know about you, but it really makes me think that the Cowboys are going to run the football more. Without question.
Well, you look at the resumes of the offensive line coach with the Cardinals. What is his resume, his style, tactic, and his resume, success he's had. They're going to be a different football team coming this year on the offensive side of the ball. And let's get to the point when I try to make so I don't forget. We want Dak 25, 27 touchdowns, 6 or 7 interceptions. We want time of possession dominated. I don't care if he makes a Pro Bowl. I want him to throw his 3,700, I say, 27-5. Back in those days, 3,500, ball control. Same numbers as his rookie season. We want time of possession. Yeah. And that's what they're looking at, that philosophy of running, what that means to run the football.
So it seems to me they're also interviewing Tashard Choice as the running backs coach, who for the last few years has been the running backs coach for University of Texas. And he helped develop, now part of it is your own talent ability, but he helped develop Bijan Robinson. Right. So there is some Roshan Johnson, he's definitely helped these guys develop into excellent players. And he deserves another, and I'm excited to see what he does here, because these guys he's filling out a very good coaching staff. Steven looked like an absolute moron. Jerry looked old. Brian Schottenheimer from the Get Up looked impressive. And he has started to fill out a coaching staff that's been impressive. Your oldest son said ver.
Yeah, and go back to the coaching. He's been in the league long enough. He's paid his dues. He's been a coordinator. He's done all that. This is his team. He knows what it's just think what it means to win 2 playoff games his first year. I know that's crazy, or the second year, what it means. Forget it. If he won a Super Bowl, our kids would be, my grandkids would be naming Brian. Shoddy. He'd be Shoddy. The little fella coming in next month or whatever, your grand.
Start calling him Shoddy.
We call him Shoddy. That's what it's saying. He knows what it takes. He knows what it looks like it by looking at the hires that Jerry's not involved with it, because the personal types, the personality traits in these guys are kind of like the head coach.
Yeah, it feels like Brian is making the picks for the coaches and the team, and not Jerry and Steven, thank God. They have the feel, and I think Jerry's strength, and sometimes his weakness, but I think his strength is when he listens to people. He knows how to get the best out of it. When he listened to Jimmy Johnson, look what happened. When he listened to Bill Parcells, look what happened. When he listens to Will McClay, we're all like, look what happens. When he is listening to people, the Cowboys excel. When Jimmy and Steven get into this echo chamber of how they think they're going to do things, they look like absolute idiots. And there's draft classes that show you what exactly that looks like. I mean, it's really sad that the Cowboys have thrown away some drafts and some picks because, they get inside their own heads on what they think they should do. There's too much talent to be failing. And if they let Schottenheimer do what he's already started to do, we'll see how far they can go. I'm impressed so far. Was not impressed at first with the process And RJ Ochoa, our friend from Blogging the Boys, talks about this all the time. The process is flawed, but if they let Shoddy do his thing the way he's done so far, I'm excited to see what the offense will look like come the fall.
Listen, you cannot put your head in the sand about how it was done, because these other coaches that left, they've had a resume. Shoddy had a resume as a coordinator, was not the best. Okay, they weren't top 10 in their offensive abilities during this time with the Jets and a couple other things. As a person, on how he presents himself, top of the line. And I get all that. Fossil, I don't know his charming personality. Tom Coughlin, we said, not a charming personality. We want to make sure that he how should I say, if you're not the brightest guy in the room, hire the brightest people then.
Right.
That's all. That's fine. Long as you're hiring them. I'm weak here. Let's get the best person for that job.
Yeah. Someone just said, would you trade Dak for a top 5 pick this year?
No.
I don't know how fast I could say no. And here's why.
No.
$90 million in dead cap, which is stupid to try and do that. When you have to re-sign Micah, you have to re-sign Tyler, you have CD. I don't see any of these quarterbacks, Shador, Cam Ward, Jackson Dart. I don't see any of them as good as Dak. And think of the year that we just saw from Jaden Daniels, right? Jaden Daniels, let's pull up his stats real quick. Jaden Daniels this year, who had what many people say is the best rookie year of all time. He had 3,500 yards, 25-9. Let's look up some of Dak Prescott's years. Again, the best rookie of all time. You look at 2023, Dak, 4,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions.
What was Dak's rookie year? He was got rookie
year. His rookie year was 3,600 yards, 23-4.
Like same thing.
It's the same thing. I mean, I'm not saying that Jaden Daniels isn't going to be a potential MVP one day, but when you're talking about trading for someone who you don't know what they're going to be, and these guys don't project as high, Dak's a top 10 quarterback when he's healthy. He is.
Listen, all through the 60s, growing up as a kid, and in the 70s and stuff, it's not unlikely to trade your starting quarterback away, who was a star.
Right.
It's part of the MO of the NFL. It's been done before. Roman Gabriel got traded from the Rams. He was MVP. So it happens. Unitas and these guys, they move around in the NFL.
Hey, Manning left.
Yeah.
Tom Brady left.
It's a scenario in the NFL has been going on since the 60s of trading your starting quarterback who's been with your organization for a while. But just take a look at the second year with the Texans quarterback. With a shaky offensive line, he did not play well.
Right.
He did not play well.
Now, Spencer said if it's not Arch Manning, it's not worth it. Again, Arch Manning, I don't think this draft class is as high. I think Jackson Dart will probably go first round because of need. Cam and Shador would not be top 3 quarterback. I mean, they wouldn't be drafted above Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels last year, or Drake May. I don't think they'd be drafting above any of those guys. That's what Spencer says, not Arch Manning. Our cousin John said, go Birds, get out. So we are definitely rooting for the Chiefs to repeat. There's no way we're rooting.
No, there's just goes you take the Eagles, right?
Right.
Take the Eagles. They're winning. They're in the Super Bowl. He's throwing not even 200 yards a game.
Right, so 180 yards.
180 yards. So
that's a blueprint that can be replicated.
Right, exactly. That's the point of it.
And
we love Hurts as a personal.
Yeah, he's great.
Brother-in-law, top of the line.
Here's the thing. Everyone says, oh, this is the way the Patriots did it. This is the way the Chiefs are doing it. Well, they can do that because they have 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You can do it with Patrick Mahomes because you have Andy Reid, who's one of the greatest coaches of all time, much like the Patriots had Belichick, and say, oh, you're not going to use receivers. Great. But there's other methods and say, hey, the Eagles have an elite running back, 2 excellent wide receivers, a great offensive line, and the quarterback hasn't asked to do as much. You can say, oh, well, he could do more.
Exactly.
Well, he's doing what needs to be done, and he's been dinged up, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But he's doing enough to win football games and put him in deep in the playoffs and a second Super Bowl appearance in 3 years now.
How old is Dak?
30, 31.
Yeah,
There's still time. This is probably his last big deal.
It's still young.
Yeah.
And the interesting about the quarterback play on your team, this is the great Ray Lewis, top 10 leaders in the NFL history, said Trent Dilfer was our guy, our leader. They won 1 Super Bowl with him. That's all. This is what we're talking about. You know, he looked at Trent as the leader of the team, our guy.
And remember, they moved on from him. Was it Kyle Bowler they moved on to? And he just didn't have the same leadership. And the guys here said you could use the pick on Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter and sign a free agent quarterback as a gap. Okay, so let's play this out. You trade Dak, you sign Abdul Carter, who we think will be a star.
Yep.
Let's say you get him and Micah absolutely terrorized. You now have $90 million in cap, which you either eat outright this year or split over 2 years. Here are your free agent quarterback options. Sam Darnold, who, like it or not, is making at least $30 million this year. I don't care. Again, there's enough QB needy teams, the Browns, the Titans, the Jets, the Giants, the Raiders, that are going to pay him money to start somewhere. So you're going to have to pony up for $30 million. So now instead of $90 million, you're really paying the quarterback position $100 at least. If you're only paying Sam Darnold, you have $120 million allotted for that quarterback position. Okay, split up over 2 years. Do 45 and 45. So you're saying $75 million for a quarterback position, most of which is someone you're not playing on your team. And again, a significant downgrade from Dak to Sam Darnold. That's the reality of it. And the rest of here's your other options: Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett, Taylor Heineke, Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock. Those names do anything for you? Justin Fields, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins. Don't ever. You just saw what Kirk Cousins did. Okay, the reality is, quarterbacks in their 30s who tear their Achilles are not coming back the same. Kirk doesn't have the natural ability that Aaron Rodgers did. And we see they're both shells of themselves, and that's the reality of it.
The Carr, was it Derek Carr?
Derek Carr.
He's a free agent, right?
Russell Wilson. I mean, who's signing these people?
Right.
You know, you're going to Desmond Ridder is a restricted free agent. Cool. I don't care if he was. I don't care if they're paying me to take him. Aaron Rodgers. I'm not. You want Aaron Rodgers in Dallas? Because we don't. We don't.
No.
In Dallas.
No, you can't.
No, that's insane.
No.
So you're not going to allot that money for a quarterback position when you know you're taking a significant step back at the most important position. I'm willing to bite the bullet on some stuff and move on, but I'm not willing to bite the bullet at quarterback and pay the money and then say, you know what, you're downgrading too.
How many Super Bowls did Jim Plunkett win? He came from New England, went to the Raiders, and it was a downside. And he was part of. I know he won 1. Did he win 2? Who was the one in 83? 80.
He got 2 Super Bowls.
He got 2 Super Bowl rings that came from New England.
15 and 18. Super Bowl 15, Super Bowl 18.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 15 MVP.
Yep.
Yeah. Listen, we know that it's possible to take these cap hits and move on. The Broncos just took the largest cap hit in NFL history with Russell Wilson and took Bo Nix, and they made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to take the cap relief in the next year or two and start to build up some of their stuff. Yeah, Cousin John. Aaron is washed up, he said.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right. Listen, we're sitting here. We're not sponsored by Starbucks, but it's Cowboys and Coffee. We're live, baby. That's what we're here.
Maybe Junior can text somebody in our, that we need to text. Let them know. Junior.
We're doing good here. And I want to see what I know we're going to see is this. Cowboys offense is going to be putting people in motion. It's going to be pulling guards and tackles. I think you're going to see Tyler Smith take his game to the next level. And I think you said before, Tyler Guyton, it fits him to be moving.
It fits him to be his style. He's gonna win the offensive line by making him smarter and use some of that athletic ability that he has, and put some confidence in his second year. He's gonna be big. He's gonna be bigger and stronger. He's gonna be bigger and stronger. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give him a bust yet. After this year, and after this year, you move on, type of thing. That's why I'm not drafting no lineman in the first round. Don't even go.
No.
I know they talk about it. No. Campbell or the Ohio State guy. No, sorry. If you do that, you forget. You're wasting.
Yeah, it's just
There's one guy, the Boise State guy, is going to be in the backfield. That's when I'll be shocked if it's a wide receiver. That's it.
Yeah, and the Cowboys will be switching over to a zone run. It looks like a zone running scheme, which fits Ashton Jeanty. If he's there, you pull the trigger.
What's his size? What is he? Is he 6'1", 220?
Let's see.
I never got his reading. Is he 5'11", 210?
He is 5'9", 216.
Oh, man.
That's not big. How big was Emmett?
5'10", 205.
This boy can fly.
Yeah.
He can fly.
Yeah, 5'9", how much?
215.
Yeah, 5'9", 215.
Clayton Adams, I mean, he did a lot with a little. Listen, if you play fantasy football, James Conner the last 2 years, whether you follow them or not, James Conner's done incredible work, and I don't think anyone thought he would be doing so good.
Because he's up there and he's
not young.
He's not young.
Yeah.
So you do the combination of run scheme and running back, they're good.
James Conner's 29, which we say is,
Yeah, right.
We make it seem like he is on the verge of death as a running back.
Right.
He's about to die.
Right.
He's 21 years old. But think about it. He never ran for 1,000 yards until the last 2 years.
Really?
He was a Pro Bowler 2018. He had 12 touchdowns with the Steelers. 2021, he had 15 touchdowns, but 752 yards. 2 years ago, 1,040 yards. This year, 1,094 yards, 7 touchdowns and 8 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Listen, that's not a bad career. Two-time Pro Bowler.
I'm going to say it again. I want 30 carries, 5 games out of 17, 30 carries.
And this is, he has actually, Clayton Adams done a great job keeping Kyler Murray clean. He's done a great job protecting a quarterback. His sack rate is low, considering, one, they don't have a lot of assets in the offensive line. I don't think they're as good, as talented as the Cowboys. Yeah. Current batch.
John Cooper. Remember that?
Oh, man. No. Was that Cooper from UNC?
Yeah.
Yeah, he washed out, man.
He was top 5 or 6.
He was awesome.
He was.
If McMillan is within a few picks due to a QB rush at the top, you trade up to get him instead. Maybe with 3 picks and you go, I don't think the Cowboys have the ability to trade.
We don't have a 4th rounder.
Right. I think they're.
Then our whole draft is gone with unless you do something next year, but no.
I think you trade down instead of trading up. I would love to Tyler McMillan, but here's the thing. One, to trade down, you need people willing to trade up. And we're going to do something in the future where we'll be doing a live mock draft on like PFF and we'll stick and pick, and then we'll be able to trade with 2 different ones. That's number one. I don't know if Tyler McMillan is there. Tet McMillan is phenomenal. Number 1 receiver in the draft class to me. I'm not trading up. If Tet is gone and Jeanty is gone at 12, which the more I see it, the less likely I think that happens, because like I've been preaching this the whole time. Mike Green from Marshall is going to be a top 15 pick. He's nasty.
Right.
You could see Jackson Dart, another quarterback. This is what we say all the time. There's going to be risers. We get done with the season. We're like, well, this is where they're going to be. Well, there's a long time to go.
As you said this many years ago, even a young person, you said there's always one team that screws it up.
Someone always does something stupid.
It always is guaranteed. And we don't want it to be us.
Yeah, just not us.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, the Jaguars picked Tyson Alualu, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, these guys are dumb. Yeah. And now if you watch Hard Knocks last year, Shane's son is like, you should sign Saquon Barkley. And it's like, yeah, I think they should have. I mean, looking back to 2020 vision. But like, it's just simple things. I don't have to mess it up.
Yeah.
I think, Spen, I'm not trading up for McMillan, even though I would love him on the team. If you're asking me, you take McMillan and then you draft a running back in round 2 or 3. I think what is likely to happen right now, from what I'm hearing and reading, they're going to draft G&T round 1. They're going to draft a receiver round 2. So, does someone like Luther Burden fall due to his size? Kez Johnson is fantastic out of the slot, nearly unguardable. There's the Beck from TCU who looks like Cooper Cup.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of Savion Williams.
Oh, I like him.
I mean, he's huge. And if he runs fast, he could be a second round pick. Golden from Texas. There's a lot of options that everyone always says, oh, they'll be gone. They'll be gone. Okay, well, the Cowboys have the 12th pick in the draft and the 44th pick in the draft. There's only 40, but including the Cowboys pick, there's only 43 guys that can go before that second pick.
Right.
So someone's going to be there.
McMillan's his name, right?
Tyrone McMillan.
He's going to be gone before that.
I think he's gone because you look at Carolina Panthers. Now, unless they sign T. Higgins, I think they have to get that number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
And especially if teams are not going to go quarterback. What you want is a run on quarterbacks team to go quarterback crazy.
The first 11, what quarterback's going to first 11?
And I think that's the big thing. At first, the season ended, everyone goes, okay, Cam Ward and Shador, these are the top 2 quarterbacks that are going to go 1-2. It's possible they don't go 1-2.
Drop. So they go drop in the second round. Are they high second rounders?
So I have
who's going to pick them anyways? Who's going to pick them?
So from what I've seen, man, there's a lot of guys.
Ward is to me better than Sanders.
I agree. A lot of people don't have first round grades on them. It doesn't mean they won't go first round.
Right.
Because we have to take into account that the positional value is so much higher than something else. That it might be a player you might have higher on the board.
Let's go back to Pete Carroll in Seattle. The rest is history. He turned around. He signed a guy from Green Bay, free agent. Flynn. He signed him big money.
Yep.
And he turned around, drafted Wilson, which you could draft, and he said, he's starting. And the rest is history.
Yep.
He's going to go in the Hall of Fame. They won a Super Bowl and won another one. And Wilson will be a Hall of Famer.
Here's the teams that are in just the top 10 that I could say could use a quarterback, whether or not they pick them. Tennessee.
Okay. Now, Tennessee, that quarterback comes in there, right? He's a little wacky. And by the way, why is he doing Hellman's commercials?
Oh, he had a big thing in college, I realized, where he was eating mayonnaise and stuff like that. That was a big thing.
Is that something?
Will Levis doing Hellman's mayonnaise commercials.
What was he doing a Hellman's commercial?
You know you're a weirdo. Listen, I'm a Hellman's mayonnaise.
So they're going to give him. Will they give him McMillan to throw to?
No, number 1 overall.
Hunter.
No, they're talking about. They've already made it clear they're going for a generational talent. It looks like they're telegraphing they're going to sign. They're going to draft Abdul Carter.
Okay, Carter's a lock.
Yeah,
I would say Carter's a lock.
Number 2, Cleveland. I don't see how you could do anything but draft a quarterback.
What a disaster.
Deshaun's not coming back this year, and I think after this season they can start to talk about biting the bullet financial.
Is he on contract?
He's unsigned. He's a free agent.
I'll forget it. They're going to go Ward.
Yeah, I think they go Ward because Deion's made it clear that Shador doesn't want to go there to Cleveland. 3 of the Giants. I think if Shador is there, they draft Shador.
Okay, well, they're not running like he did with the Buffalo guy. They're not going to do any of that offense. He's not keeping the ball running it.
No, he can't. But if you believe that your head coach is the QB whisperer that he was in Buffalo,
QB sucked.
Yeah, we're going to see. What do you do with Daniel Jones? He'll have a shot. They'll be able to pick their guy, so to speak, and go Shador. New England at 4 is not picking a quarterback. I think Travis Hunter slides right in there immediately. I think I'm in the minority here, but I would rather have him play wide receiver and spot cornerback than cornerback and spot receiver. I think he's a better receiver.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You think I'm crazy. I'll tell you the Giants who they pick, who would be nasty on that team. That white boy from Penn State, that tight end.
Tyler Warren is nasty.
He got to be.
My cousin John here said Raiders picking Sanders. And listen, I could see that, and I could see them trading up for it.
Yeah.
Listen,
I can see that
if I'm the Giants,
because Pete Carroll can deal with him. Perfect.
right? If I'm the Giants,
I agree with him.
and I'm 3, and the Raiders are saying, I'll give you a first, second, and third to trade back to 6, or a first, a second, and a fourth to trade back to 6.
Spencer, you calling people?
Then I would consider taking that, because then you have the ability to. You're going to have to go out and sign a quarterback. Then you're going to have to be stuck with a Sam Darnold or somebody, and that's a big swing for the GM and head coach. We're going to need to figure it out, but. At 6, if you're the Giants, you say, okay, we get Sam Darnold. We can get to Tyrone McMillan. We got Tyrone Tracy, Malik Neighbors. Put another pick in the offensive line.
I'm telling you.
He said, not until I get paid for telling people. That's what Spencer said.
Yeah.
All right.
You're going to get so much. You are.
Yeah, I'm sure. We know.
Okay.
Maybe a car. How about that? Maybe you get paid in that.
Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hit the viewer button, please. Hit it.
Subscribe. We're looking to grow our subscription base here and get it going. Jacksonville's not drafting a quarterback, but their defense is so bad. They're drafting defense.
Yeah, the Michigan guy, the big tackle.
Yeah, they're going to draft him.
Yeah.
And he's a stud, and he'll be there for a while.
So there's no linebackers to draft. They're not even existing anymore.
Not that high.
Is there a first one?
The
Alabama boys.
Jihad is nasty.
Yeah.
Vegas at 6, I could see taking a quarterback again.
Sanders is a perfect fit with
in Vegas.
Pete Carroll.
I think they've been telegraphing that. The Jets at 7. I don't know where they go. Does Garrett Wilson demand a trade? Does Devontae demand a trade? Do they both demand a trade? Do you give in to the trade
Wilson
demands?
already, he said he wants out.
Yeah, he don't want to be there. Aaron Rodgers comes back. I'm not sticking around now. Aaron Glenn, who we like.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Good man. Cowboy. Former Cowboy.
Yeah.
Has paid his dues from the bottom up, literally as a scout, a position coach, assistant coach, or all these things.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to get in there and talk to these guys? And then what do they do at quarterback? Do they roll into the regular season next year with Jordan Travis? They drafted from Florida State a couple years ago. Hasn't got any run, excuse me. Do they go with him?
If you don't get that right at quarterback listen, let me go back on him. Mention about the Cowboys and giving up something. They went to Seattle back in 76 to get after the Heisman Trophy winner. The consensus was Landry's a defensive coach. What were they going to draft? This is the Randy White, Walter Payton pick, right? So they went with Randy White. Now, they went to Tony Dorsett, but they had all pros in every position.
Right.
So they gave up 5 picks and players to get Tony Dorsett. And I think Ricky Bell was number 1 that year.
And I would tell you this.
And Dorsett was this Heisman Trophy pick 2nd. Rest is history. We love you, TD. Hope you feel better. You got the Hawk.
When you pick a running back, they can put you over the edge.
Well, but
speaking of the edge, a guy, running back positions are also make or break, because if you're wasting a pick on a running back, it's going to kill you. Look at early 2000s Cleveland Browns. Butch Davis becomes the head coach, and he drafts William Green, running back out of BC,
what a disaster.
Instead of the guy who he just coached, Edgerrin James, who's made the Hall of Fame.
Who made the Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame running back.
Edgerrin
James, he was nasty. I thought he was borderline.
I thought he was borderline.
I didn't think he would get in, but he got in. He was a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Him, Peyton, and Marvin Harrison. Not to mention, Dallas Clark's there, Jeff Saturday's there.
Sweeney. Not Sweeney, the defensive end.
Oh, Freeney. Robert Mathis.
Robert Mathis got
Bob Sanders, Defensive Player of the Year.
Those
are nasty teams. That's great talent on those teams.
Tony Dungy, might be running for office.
He said he's not doing it. He reported the other day. He said, I don't even live in Michigan. I live in Florida. I'm not leaving.
How awesome is he? The NFL players never heard him curse a word, and yet
and they love him.
You know what they said? He said, we couldn't let him down. He couldn't let him down.
Yeah.
He said,
it rocks.
Right. When you think about a head coach about personalities and stuff, I'll be being the hard nose, the Shulas and the Landrys and Dickas and all those guys. Gibbs and Walsh, they were so under control. They knew that, you know, it was the players are motivated by what you really know and how you execute that. You know, how you motivate them. And the guy who was talking about said he was a good motivator. Brian was. Shotty was a good motivator.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Listen, the Panthers at 8, I think, take Ted McMillan. I have no doubt that if he's there and I'm the Panthers and I'm Dan Morgan, the GM, I'm running
Yeah.
to the podium. Running.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. He should be like this with that pick. Mm-hmm. Remember the Cowboys with the Vikings and they jumped them?
Unbelievable. You know, then you have the Saints who do they need a quarterback? Derek Carr's one. They're like, oh, they're like who they have.
Who's their head coach?
They're about to sign Kellen Moore.
Okay.
They're just waiting for him to go ahead and finish the season. They can't officially do that till he gets there. The Saints at 9. They could use a lot. They're so bereft of talent. Should be running like the Flash with that pick, cousin John said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Saints, I think, are a team that could and should trade down. They're in cap hell still. They're going to be the way for the next few years. They have no quarterback. They have no cap room. They're an old team, and they're going to be picking top 10 for a while. So Kellen Moore, if I'm there, that's spend. If I'm the Cowboys, this to me is the spot to look to trade up to at 9, because I think the Saints could use the extra draft capital. Again, not having a 4th rounder really hurts, doesn't it? But if I'm the Cowboys, 9 is the spot. If Ted McMillan makes it there, that I'm willing to jump up, and I think the Saints would be willing to slide down a few picks to get. But I don't. That would be if Ashton is off the board too, because I don't really want to jump up for Ted if Ashton's on the board.
Yeah,
you kind of let it play to you.
I don't like moving up. They moved up. Did they move up for Des Bryant?
Yeah,
that worked out.
So at 10 is the Bears, and if they're picking offensive line. You got a new offensive head coach. You've got weapons on the outside. You got running backs. You'll be fine. They're picking offensive line.
And he came back. He came from a all-pro, 2 or 3 all-pros in that line. They're going line.
Right. They're going. You have to kill Williams, get the snot beat out of him.
Yeah.
They're going offensive line. 49ers 11. I could also see picking offensive line. Trent Williams is 37 this summer.
And he was banged up last year.
He's banged up all year. They're going to have to pick another one. Just watch that. Please don't unplug that.
Yeah.
This live is over. Okay.
Ohio State tackle. One of the big boys.
Cowboys at 12. Now, this is where the pick comes. I think Gene T is there, and he's the pick. The Cowboys have made very clear they're going to try. They're working on re-signing Osa Odigizua.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: we've talked about head coaching staff. He's made his picks. They're listening to the Cowboys fans. It looks like Jerry's very, very sensitive. I'll say that. And I think right now he's hearing it, and they've been talking about they're going to try and be aggressive in free agency. You got to re-sign Osa. They picked up the 5th-year option on Tyler Smith. They're working on an extension right now. And they should be doing the same with Micah. Now, you do those things, you restructure Dak and CD, you're probably talking close to $100 million, but Osa, even if you're at $80 million in cap space, it's time to go do something with free agency. The question is, the $1 million question in free agency is, where does T. Higgins go? He wants to be a number 1. You know, there's a lot of people who say, oh, well, he said Twiggy's coming up.
Okay.
T. Higgins, a lot of people say, oh, he's not a number 1 receiver because Jamar Chase is. Jamar Chase, listen, is the top. At worst, on the worst day, Jamar Chase is the 3rd best receiver in the NFL. And I think legitimately he's probably the best receiver. Combined with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase.
Oh, yeah, he's solid.
He's number 1.
What a body type he's got, too.
You know, split between, you want to say Jamar at 1, Justin Jefferson at 2, CD at 3. I think I'd be okay with that.
Listen, I'm shocked that CD made All-Pro. I didn't think he was. That guy
So-
who said Detroit is pretty good too.
Amon-Ra
A.J.
St.
Brown's
Brown's
no
phenomenal.
bum.
AJ Brown. If you're saying that's the top 5 in the NFL,
A.J. Brown is no bum either. Yeah,
I couldn't be
Yeah.
mad with that.
right.
Not at all. So there's a lot of talent there, but when you talk to coaches, they say game planning for T. Higgins is so difficult because he's so physical. He's big, he's strong, he's a tight end in a wide receiver's body. So where does he go as a number 1 receiver?
Let me tell you something about T. Higgins. Wherever he goes, wherever his bank is, they're gonna have a lot of money in that bank.
Listen,
You're gonna have a lot of money in that bank. I don't think he's a bum either. I don't think he's gonna take the money and be a
he's
bum.
6'4", 215. He's massive.
I don't think he's gonna be a bum.
Yeah. The Pats, who tried to get a receiver last year and were rebuffed, they tried to sign Calvin Ridley, and he was like, "Yeah, no thanks." The Raiders have cap space, and they need someone to go with Brock Bowers. They're going to need a quarterback, and then the Commanders have $100 million in cap space. If I'm the Commanders, now he's going to cost $35 to $40 million, but you have $100 million in cap space. Use it, especially you have a young quarterback. It's not going to cost you anything in the draft.
Here's what you're going to do: less money, better team, or more money, less team. What's going to be?
But he don't have to trade off if he goes to the Commanders.
New England,
he can make $40 million.
Let me tell you something. Him and Pete Carroll with whatchamacallit, it's not a bad fit.
That's true.
Pete Carroll's got charisma with these players.
Sure. Yeah. But listen, or you could go make your $35 million, go to the Commanders. You're number 1. Terry McLaurin's your number 2. You got Jaden Daniels as your young quarterback, and you know this team is still on the rise. They can still go out and draft a running back.
He's not going to be number 1. He'll be number 1 with the Raiders. Come on, Raiders. That's what I'm saying right now.
What are the Patriots?
Patriots. They stink too bad. He's going to beat up.
Yeah, there's just too many holes in the Patriots. I wouldn't go to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Right. If he goes to Raiders, him and Brock Bowers, there's some good options.
Well, he's going to be with Sanders. They'll work together and they'll do well. And he's got people to throw to make him look better. He's going to Sanders. I'm not a Sanders fan as a number 1 first rounder, second rounder tops, but I think he knows the game enough that you put the players around him like Eli.
You're saying he's a second round grade, or you're saying he won't go to the second round? Because there's a huge difference there, right? I don't know that there's. I probably am looking like 15 to 20 first round grades in this draft, but there's 32 first round picks.
Right.
So someone's going first round.
I don't think he's at the. Is he the second quarterback being picked? Who's the first quarterback? I think is Ward. The second will be him.
I could see Shador as a second round grade for me.
Yeah.
Cam, I probably have a first round grade on, but I don't think it'd be a top 5. It's not going to be a top 5, top 10 grade on.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So, Raiders or Skins, I think those are the 2 big options for me. And listen, the Steelers apparently want in. The 49ers want in. The 49ers got to pay Brock Purdy. And the Steelers, that another team, what's their quarterback situation? They're now they want to re-sign Justin Fields. Why didn't you play him? Because Russ didn't give you anything. Oh, what's going to happen to Russell Wilson? Where does he go? I'm not having him. Kurt Benkert broke his film down, says the mix of Stroud and Goff, but not as good. Yeah, so you would think the son of Deion Sanders would be a mobile quarterback or athletic. Shador is not. He's nothing like the more athletic quarterbacks in the NFL today. Forget Lamar. Right? Lamar is a unicorn, right? He's not Jaden Daniels. He's not these guys who can get out and run the ball. I don't know if he's Aaron Rodgers, who in his prime obviously could get out. And I mean, as elite, as a style of player.
Right.
He would get out, break the pocket. How many times he roll right and throw down the field and kill you? Did the Cowboys rolling left? He's not athletic. He doesn't have a strong arm. He has an average NFL arm. And they're like, oh, look at him. I'm like, guys, every quarterback with no pads can throw the ball 60 yards.
Right.
Chad Pennington could.
Yeah.
Now.
Chad Pennington, yeah.
He's a pocket passer. So we're going to find out if the pocket passer is dead or alive because he's there. And Cam's a much better athlete with much more lively. His arm is active.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, Shador has a very quick release, which I think is very beneficial, especially if he's going to go to a team that doesn't have a great offensive line. They're going to have to use some play action there. You're going to have to get the ball out quick. I think he would benefit out of the West Coast offense tremendously. I think Shador could handle that. I worry about the market he goes to. I don't trust him in New York's market because if he throws his lineman under the bus in New York, every New York radio host is going to dog him.
Well, it's the same thing with Wilson going to New York.
John just said Wilson going to the Giants.
Yeah. I can see that, but here's the problem. Media. I don't know. There's something about his personality.
Yeah, you got
to be coochie coo. Pete Carroll was soft with him, and he loved him and took care of him. He got everybody else's case except his quarterback. So
yeah. It seems like at the end the relationship kind of soured there.
So, yeah.
And you're not putting the time in. Just all the stuff he did in Denver, and it's just corny. He's just a cornball. You're not playing. You're inactive for an injury for the Steelers. You're on the sideline with all your pads on, a helmet. Take your helmet off, bro. Take your pads. Put your jersey on like everybody else. Put a headset on, fine. But you're not playing. You're inactive. You literally cannot play. You're injured.
And let me just say him. I am a Wilson fan. When everything around him is pretty good. I think he's won a Super Bowl. He's made different. They didn't have a lot there. The running game was Harris. He's a free agent, right?
He's also a free agent.
The running game was non-existent. They had one receiver who was a prima donna, prima donna to say the least. Okay, and what could he do? You only could.
But he doesn't have the arm either. These like rainbow passes. He's like throwing it up in the air and it just gently comes down. That's not Super Bowl winning or a quarterback play. He doesn't have the touch anymore. He used to have absolute cannon for him. He don't have anymore. That's fine. He's in his mid to late 30s. I get it. It's not there. You cannot perform like the elite athletes of the world every 36-year-old. It doesn't happen. There's only one Tom Brady or one LeBron James. It's not everybody gets to do this now. Go ahead.
Now this is brought to my attention by Mr. Roosevelt Riley, and he says it very well. Can anybody else coach Sanders besides his father? And it's a great question.
It's the $1 million question because we haven't seen it.
It's a $1 million question. Can anybody else? And that's why Pete Carroll can.
Right.
That's why Pete Carroll can.
Does he go?
He can. He knows how.
Yeah. Listen, because you could say Shador at 6 or trade up there, and they have Brock Bowers. They're going to need a running game. Problem is they don't have a good line. They don't have a good running game. Then they have Brock Bowers. So you're going to have to put some things around him. Not that you can't address that second round, third round. You pick an offensive lineman, a running back.
Pete's a player's coach. He's a player's coach. He's been with those guys at USC. He knows how to recruit. He knows how to talk to guys. And who could not love that guy, Sanders, and make him play better than Pete Carroll? I'm thinking he's going there.
And he's an organization where Tom Brady's at the top, which the NFL needs to step in and do something. You can't be an owner, actively involved, and then calling the games. That's just not right.
Right.
I could see Shador. I think, if I recall correctly, Shador throughout the year has been liking all the Raiders stuff and been saying he wants to be involved with the Raiders stuff and wants to play there. And it's a super cool stadium. It's a fantastic stadium. Go ahead. What we got?
All right. Yeah. That's the way it goes, brother. What can I tell you? Put it out there. Put it out there.
If you're asking me, the Cowboys are drafting GT at 12 and a wide receiver in the second round.
I'm going to call Dion later. I'll call him. I should call him now and let him know about it.
Just to let you know, we are Quincy Carter will be on with us in late March. He has a book coming out, and then at that time we'll have him on after. We'll talk to him. We're setting up a date after his book releases to get him on our show here. But I think 12 GT is there for me, and if GT and McMillan are not, and let's say hypothetically there's nowhere to drop down, there's no realistic trade back option. Who do you take at 12 if GT and McMillan are gone?
I'm going to defensive tackle, the Kentucky guy.
That's way high for him.
He's a beast.
No, but
okay, then what's the other need? The guy from Ohio State, receiver, or
Mecca Ogbuka.
yeah.
Thank you,
Or
Mom, thank you for saying this is a great show. Emeka Ogbuka, Luther Burden. I mean, what about Tyler Warren? Tyler Warren there at 12. And I know he's a tight end. You said, well, you have Ferguson, you have Schoonmaker. Tyler Warren is one of those guys. He is what everyone wants Kyle Pitts to be. Now, Kyle Pitts, number one, is an absolutely atrocious route runner. To even call him a route runner, it would be an insult to people who run bad routes. I mean, I don't even think there's a show, I think All American, and they joke about like the quarterbacks who throw the ball, but they're throwing it into the camera, and there's a bunch of people behind him. So he kind of throws it like this. It's silly. He was like, I don't want to throw and hit someone who's recording behind me. So I throw it silly like that to be like nice to the people. He goes, I know it looks silly, but I'm just trying to be kind. That's what it looks like when Kyle Pitts is running a route. Like Drake's out there, like it's awful. And knee injuries have robbed him of his athleticism. Yeah. Tyler Warren is not that. He carried the ball in the backfield. He'll run routes. He'll run over you, run around you, run through you. It does not matter. So him at 12, you're going to say, let's put another weapon out there. They do need a receiver. Now, Spencer said Shamar Stewart from A&M. That's another guy I have second-round grade on him. I don't have a first-round grade on him. I could see him being a second-round pick, I could see teams picking him at the end of the first round, but I don't think he's a top 15 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, I know you. I know how you're strict to that, to the ranking of it. Sometimes it's funny how you have players that you feel are higher or lower, and that's the individual eyesight of it all. The Kentucky guy is 6'6", 345, and he's a beast and a half in your front line, because on paper you're depending on that guy from Michigan to play better, which he played better, but what does that mean? What playing better? You know what I mean? He did okay. He's okay. I don't know.
Shamar Stewart's 6'6", 290. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He's prototype spin.
Yeah.
But he's not even the best edge on his team. You got Nick Skirton, who's 6'4", 285, who's a better edge.
Yeah.
You also have James Pierce from Tennessee, who's 6'5", 245, who's nasty.
Yeah,
I have a bunch of good D linemen for Tennessee this year.
Yeah, there are a bunch of good ones. I forget about that.
Don't touch that again.
Yeah.
You have Princely Umanamalein, edge from Ole Miss, right? 6'4", 255 was nasty. Yeah. Like there's a lot of guys who I would pick before. I don't see Shamar Stewart as a first round. I don't even think he'll go first round, even though, again, DN, the value. I don't think he goes there. Landon Jackson, 6'7", 280 from Arkansas. There's a lot of good edges in this draft.
A lot of good edges in this draft. Yeah, so if those two guys are gone, where are you going to go?
That's the $1 million question. There's a couple safeties who are very good too. Malachi Starks is a safety from Georgia who is an absolute animal. And he will absolutely knock your teeth out, 6'1", 205.
Yeah.
Tyler Booker, is that a mistype? Tyler Warren, I would take. If those two guys are gone and you want to put weapons on the offense, Tyler Warren is the guy in my position, in my opinion. But I could see the Cowboys going defense there.
Yeah. I think the need, and again, most available athlete and need. You have to sometimes with the quarterback is always a need. Your team needs a quarterback. You'll have to draft that need.
Right.
Now, best available athlete. And I do remember, if I got this correctly, I owe somebody an apology. I'll take care of you later. Monk, you need to apologize to somebody for me. You'll smooth in for me, Monk. Dallas, I believe, started drafting the best available athlete.
Interesting.
I think they're credited for that. So, and that's how you gain, even though you might be don't need it, but your best football players on your team.
Now, Spencer said Tyler Booker, guard from Alabama. We're not drafting a guard in the first round, no matter if Gene T and McMillan are gone. They're not drafting a guard at 12. I do not see that at all. And it doesn't even look like they're talking about that. I haven't heard that. No one has mentioned that.
Right.
Who has a very good pulse of the Cowboys is Mel Kiper Jr. Last couple of years, he pegged Tyler Smith. as the Cowboys pick, and sure enough, he was.
Mhm.
You know, he seems to have a good feel for where Dallas is going, and I do not see a guard in this. I think Hoffman played well enough.
Right.
You know, I think between Hoffman, T.J. Bass, Tyler Smith as those guard spots, that they're not going guard. It's running back, wide receiver, or a defensive lineman, specifically a D end, in my opinion. If they're going to go, if they're sticking and picking there. I mean, I understand the desire to pick another lineman to kind of rebuild the line, but I think with this offensive coordinator who does a great job as a head coach, that I have no idea who they're going to pick. I just told you who they're going to pick. It's Ashton Jeanty. They've been telegraphing that to us the whole time now. That's who they're going to pick. I don't know what to tell you. You don't like it? Too bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's who they're going to pick.
Yeah, and again, back to the Dallas. What do they do with their own free agents? And again, there's been mention of who's going to go back to Washington with Quinn.
So herein lies the big issue.
I handled that way.
The talk with
I handled that.
They've talked about changing their free agent perspective and how they're spending money and how they spend things.
Yeah,
it's good talk. Now you got to back it up. Have to re-sign Osa. Chauncey Golson, another guy that has to be re-signed. Maybe not nearly as much as Osa, but Osa had number one priority of re-signing by far. And does anyone follow Dan Quinn back to Washington like they've already done?
Well, the D-line coach has history with Golston.
Right. And Matt Eberflus is an excellent coordinator.
Yeah.
That's another one of those guys who I love him as a D coordinator. I don't necessarily love him as a head coach. Well, I don't love him as a head coach at all, but I love him as a defensive coordinator. So that's where I'm at, and I would trust him, to be able to bring out the best in these guys. They're going to have to pour assets into these positions, not just draft picks. They have to sign people. They have to re-sign their own. They can't let talent walk out the door. You know what I mean? They have to re-sign some of these guys who have played well. And what's the DN they got this year that they signed?
Yeah.
Carl Lawson.
Yeah.
Another guy got to re-sign because DeMarcus Lawrence is old. And DeMarcus Lawrence might go with Dan Quinn as far as we know.
Yeah.
I think his time in Dallas is done too. If Tyron Smith's time was up, DeMarcus, unless he's taking a very team-friendly deal, I don't see him staying in Dallas anymore. We love DeMarcus Lawrence. He was fantastic. Okay, You take Jeanty round 1. Who do you take round 2?
All right, so this is where I'm going to lean towards. The free agents are signed before the draft now, and that's going to
tell us what's going to happen.
Okay, so are they signing a free agent defensive tackle? Who's on the contract on the D line?
You and me,
right? So
Literally.
that's why you're probably going to go D line over a wide receiver, and that's it. It's 50-50. You got your arguments for best point,
and I think they're going to draft a wide receiver because it's CD and Kavate Turpin, Jalen Brooks.
That's why you're going to go wide receiver, probably.
I think it's running back then wide receiver.
Brian will probably build around his offense the first 2 picks.
That's what I think. The first 2 picks are offense, and you're going to need to. Third pick is a defender. I think now again, we're talking about Jeanty going 1. Ideally, I'm building my team to Tyra McMillan, a D end, like the D end from Ohio State, round 2, or Shamar Stewart, round 2, Jack Sawyer in that second round.
All right,
area.
so you're going D tackle, D end,
or Omar Norman Lott, the D tackle from Tennessee.
So it's my understanding that front forward, because there's going to be a lack of blitzing, you're going to have to get after the quarterback.
That's why I think it's. I know we talk about they're going to draft Jeanty. I would go receiver round 1, and if it's not McMillan, Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden, right? I think I'd go at Egbuka because I think he will.
So you're saying there's a pool of running backs you can still grab second, third rounds.
Second,
right?
Third, fourth, fifth round.
Right.
I mean,
okay, there's a pool of them. There's a pool of them.
But there's not
Ohio
as many
State guys, Arkansas guy, couple others, right? North Carolina have a good running back too.
Yes, yeah.
Right. North Carolina,
Hampton,
right.
right.
Hampton's nasty, right?
Yeah.
So there's a pool of running backs to where you can tap into. Okay. Who's the best running back out of them all?
by far.
Thank you.
JT.
All right. So there you go.
So here's the thing.
That's the argument of it.
I need 3 starters on those first 3 picks. I need a running back, a wide receiver, and a defensive lineman. I think I'm getting that if I draft the receiver first and the lineman second, or vice versa. The lineman and receiver have to be your top 2 picks, and the running back you can go third and even double back in the 5th or 6th.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That's the great debate.
Yeah, that's because it's 50-50 because of the lack of depth that they lost with and plus free agents. You'll find by March that answer will be Golston. I think resigns because he has a relationship with that defensive thing.
Right.
Does he go to? How many go to Washington?
How many people they got cap space, but how many spots they got?
I don't think Washington's going to get any more.
Well, we'll see. Right.
How many other
Cowboys?
I think they'll get some other where. They'll put their money on that offensive line. That's where they're going to put their money. They have to.
Right.
Offensive line stinks. Biotish
gets bullied and pushed around all the time.
I can bull rush Biotish.
Again, I do think Cowboys, if you're going to maximize positional value, get 3 starters out of your first 3 picks, you're going D-line first or second round and wide receiver round 1, round 2, and then a running back round 3. There's so many good running backs who could be starters in the NFL immediately, upgrades, and can break it from anywhere. That's my other thing.
Yeah,
we need guys who can break it from anywhere. Omarion Hampton from UNC is nasty.
And what's his size?
6 foot 220.
Yeah.
Caleb Johnson from Iowa, 6 foot 225.
Yeah, I've seen him play the Iowa.
Travion Henderson can break it from anywhere. Quinshawn Judkins from Ohio State, 6 foot 219.
So
Ollie Gordon, 6'2", 225.
Here's the philosophy on that 12th pick. Your philosophy, the philosophy is this: who's the better player, Boise State or the wide receiver?
Well, again, I still think
who's the better player.
I think it's the running back who's a better player.
And who's the best running back?
We said.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What value put on that in your
again?
need?
But positional value to me has to come in too, because running backs don't carry as much positional value as a wide receiver or a D end. You can find running backs anywhere. Austin Eckler's, Le'Veon Bell, like how many guys we can go through come out of nowhere.
But can I say that with a wide receiver?
Let's look at the best receivers in the NFL. Jamar Chase, first-round pick. Justin Jefferson, first-round pick. CeeDee Lamb, first-round pick. Amon-Ra St. Brown, second-round pick? Who else do we mention as the best receivers? Tyreek Hill, sure.
Who was the guy from the Packers? He went to the Jets.
Devontae Adams, second-round pick.
Yeah.
Right? Your first couple-round picks, of course, it's always possible to find a Cooper Kupp later in the draft. Of course, it's possible to find these guys. But the chances are you have better chances drafting them higher. Same with a quarterback. Of course, it's possible to find Dak in the 4th or Tony Romo. Draft free agent.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes is a first-round pick. Jalen Hurts was first or second, or a second-round pick. Like, you're better off spending the assets higher and filling in other spots later. I don't think that 3rd round you're getting a DN who's going to start day 1 and make a difference. But I think you could draft Mike Green round 1 and he starts, and Matt Golden in round 2 and he starts, and Judkins round 3.
And I think and I see your point. You convinced me a little. Per draft year as well determines your philosophy overall of where you're going, and you what's available, what's there, your top 100, top 10, top 50. Because the question is, who's Dallas's top pick ranked? Carter.
Oh, Abdul Carter. Everybody's going to
Carter. Who would be second? Any of the quarterbacks? No, they don't need a quarterback.
No, I don't.
Where would they rank? The tight end? Who's going to be second?
Yeah, Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan.
Now, Will Johnson, is he gone in the first 10 picks?
That's a great. Yeah, he's going to go to Jacksonville. Their defense is so bad.
He's going to go to Jacksonville.
Or Mason Graham. Those guys are there. I can't imagine either of those guys.
And there's some people not crazy on Will Johnson.
Yeah, I'd be shot 6'2", 202.
Some people are not crazy about him. I'm telling you, a lot of those guys.
But you only need one team to be crazy about.
Right. Because we had an Alabama guy come in from went to the Jets and was a bust.
Right, and the big thing is how many tackles start to go high. Right, you got Will Campbell from LSU, Kevin Banks from Texas. There's a few other. Josh Simmons from Ohio State. Membu from Missouri. There's what's the guy from Oregon who had a good showing?
Right. He's another D tackle.
Spen likes Jonah Savalania from Arizona. I think he has some guard abilities in him. Oh, what's that? The guy from Oregon. What's his name? Now it's going to bother me because he can be very good. He had an excellent Senior Bowl. I'll tell you one thing I'm hoping to see. Ja Joyner has been from Denver High School, and he's been performing very well. Went to the University of Minnesota. Was a Golden Gopher, stayed the whole time, and he will probably be drafted. I would love the Cowboys to take a late round flyer on Ja Joyner.
What does he play? What position?
D end. So Ja Joyner he's not small. Ja Joyner. He had an excellent Senior Bowl.
Oh, really? He made the Senior Bowl. That's pretty good.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Patriots usually the New England teams usually pick local players.
Let's see. Senior Bowl. I think they did this. They measure you at the Senior Bowl too, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
6'4", 256, 34 3/4 inch arms, which is very long, 7.5 sacks last year.
He's a third-day pick.
He'll be a day 3 pick.
Yeah.
But I would love the Cowboys are going to draft the edge late. Get Ja Joyner, man. He's all character. He's a great kid, tough as nails.
Yeah.
And throw it out there, man. Come on,
Sure.
Jerry, get Ja Joyner at the Star, please. Thank you.
You'll find out what the 30 picks, the 30 people they bring in, right?
Yeah.
30 is it? And
right. Number? Besides the local, you get locals for free, basically, and then 30 recruits.
Yeah.
Let's get.
I'll be surprised if Stewart's not picked before then, but
who?
That's a second round pick. Who's you're gonna? The A&M guy.
Oh, yeah. I think he's a second round pick.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say that. I think he's a second.
I think he stays in the late first round.
I could see that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I have a second round grade on him. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean he's a second round pick. I do think though he will be a second round pick. I think some of these, we'll see what happens. There's a lot of very interesting picks. What do the Chiefs do at 31 and 32?
Anything they want.
Here's what's crazy. Travis Kelce's in the last year of his contract. You could draft a tight end and have Harold Fanning from Bowling Green, who is nasty.
Yeah, the tight ends.
Michigan. There's a ton of great tight ends. The tight end from Miami. Woo! From Michigan.
Woo! Michigan guys.
Those guys are nasty.
They got it. Whatchamacallit, one of the Cowboys guys have him top 10.
I would not be surprised
top 15
if they take a tight end here. Now they have Noah Gray. Don't get me wrong.
What's his name? Blood something, or he's got a funny name. The tight end from Michigan is a two-name. Blood Brother or something like that. It's like it's pretty awesome name. It's compound word.
Yeah. He is. Let me find him here.
Yeah.
Loveland.
Colston
Loveland.
Yeah.
They're a lot of big boys, man.
Yeah.
Elijah Arroyo can fly for a
what's
tight
his
end.
Size?
He's 6'4", 245.
Yeah.
Mason Taylor, tight end from LSU. Aronde Gadsden the second out of Syracuse. Remember his dad played wide receiver for the Dolphins.
The Dolphins, yeah.
There's a lot. Terrence Ferguson, right? Brother Jake. Where's his brother?
Yeah, it is.
From Oregon?
It is.
Yeah.
I think it is his brother.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not including Gunnar Helm.
I think that is
from Texas. That's 8 good tight ends who are going to be drafted first 4 rounds.
All right, give me another question out there. You need a question from the Southwest somewhere out there. All right, that's how we're gonna Southwest people. You Southwest people.
Anybody else out there
Yeah.
before we get out of here? It's been an hour-long show. Doesn't
Is it
feel like
really?
that.
Yeah.
Wow. What a run.
What a run.
So what did the Cowboys do is the $1 million question. Trey Harris, Isaiah Bond.
Those two stays. They want to stay, and plus he has a relationship. They'll stay. He knows he's going to get more money. They won't pass on him because he had a good season under Zimmer, and this new defensive line coach is pretty good too because he came from the Jets, and
the Jets did not want to give him
right. Yeah.
All right, that's it for us. Hour and 5 minutes plus.
Yeah, hour and 5 minutes. Everybody's happy with me.
You shouting out anybody? You got anybody to shout out to?
Yeah, I want to shout out. Yeah, I need a shout out to Big Brother. Thank you, Big Brother, for putting up with me.
I don't know if I have a shout out to. I had someone in mind. Oh well, it is what we're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
We're going to be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is good. You know what? Shout out my buddy DJ. He is awesome. He takes care of our trophies.
Does he? Yeah,
he takes care of our trophies, our championship ring.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
That ring.
That's my boy. So he was in my wedding. Love you, bro. Hope you're doing great.
Oh, that's who does it.
Yeah.
Oh, I never.
They're on the trophy shop.
Yeah. That's it. I have to stop in. Where was the trophy shop? Where is it?
That's up on Federal Road.
I'll have to stop in one day.
DJ Seals. That's my boy.
Seals. Yeah. He's a Cowboy fan.
Yep. Married my good friend.
Yeah.
Jody. He's part of our group,
Yeah.
part of our family now. DJ, missed you and the boys, and Jody, everybody. Hope you're doing great. We'll catch up with you soon because I got to get my new trophy engraved with my name on it. So that is all. All right. Cowboys and Coffee. This is episode like 48. For episode 50, we're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to be working on what exactly to give away. You know, a shirt or a hat or something, and we'll put that out here soon, and we'll let you guys know so we can have it ready to rock and roll. D, love you.
Love you. We're going to go eat, right?
We're going to go eat, Jack.
All right.
All right, everybody. Catch you later. Peace. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. If you can subscribe on YouTube, that would be fantastic. That would help us.
Thank you, buddy.
Should do one after the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Yuck. Anyway,
I think they're going to win, to be honest with you, but
we'll see.
Yeah.
You're going to bet against that defensive coordinator when offense we've seen before? We'll see. Spags. We'll see. All right. Bless you, everybody. Peace.